We now move on from construction to transportation. And our next presentation will be about policy directives for transport provision. Allow me to introduce our speaker to you. Engineer Sunet Salavavedana graduated as a civil engineer from the University of Peradeniya in 2004. He subsequently obtained a Master of Engineering in Highway and Traffic Engineering from the University of Moratuwa in 2011. He also holds an advanced diploma in information technology from the University of Colombo, complementing his dual expertise in civil engineering and information technology. With this rare interdisciplinary background, he has been instrumental in digitalizing the highway design sector of Sri Lanka. He's a professionally qualified chartered engineer with 3 prestigious engineering institutions: the Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka, the Institution of Civil Engineers London, and the Chartered Institute of Highways and Transportation UK. He's among the very few professionals to hold fellowships from all 3 bodies. In addition, he's a fellow of the British Computer Society, the Chartered Institute for IT, and has been conferred with the lifelong fellowship of the Institution of Chartered Professional Managers of Sri Lanka in recognition of his exceptional contributions to both civil engineering and IT. Currently serving as Deputy Director in both the Highway Design Division and the Information Systems and Network Management Division of the Road Development Authority, he leads digital transformation initiatives within Sri Lanka's largest infrastructure organization. He's registered as an international professional engineer in the UK section, and he contributes actively to academia as a resource person of IESL, as an invited lecturer, a reviewer, a Viva panelist at the University of Moratuwa and the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. He played a pivotal role in major highway design projects, including Sri Lanka's maiden expressway network, and he serves as the industry representative for the Erasmus project, which aims to integrate smart transport curricula into local universities. With over 2 decades of experience, he is widely recognized as a leading figure in highway design and a pioneer in digitalization of Sri Lanka's transport infrastructure sector. With this introduction, let's welcome our speaker on stage. Put your hands together for Engineer Sunet Salavavedana.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman, President IESL, and the conference chair, and the distinguished guest. I'm going to talk about policy directives for transport provision for Sri Lanka. Now, transport. When it comes to transport, you know, it's like our one of the major sectors in engineering. And it is just like our neural network of the body. If we have a healthy neural network, we know we can very nicely work and do all these things. But only thing is, if this neural system is going to fail, we cannot work. And that is what has happened to most of these developing countries. So we are going to speak about a new policy. Why new policy? Because you know, there is over-dependence on road transport in Sri Lanka, and then underutilized rail. One of the major problems is rising emissions and energy imports, urban congestion and road deaths, climate risk and unsustainable patterns. So these are the things that we rarely speak. So our policy objectives is to promote modal shift to sustainable modes, improve access and inclusivity, reduce emissions and energy use, integrate land use and mobility, modernize governance and funding. So if we are going to speak about the Sri Lanka transport today, so you can see that there is a map showing the Sri Lanka transport, and this is the modal share of the Western Province. Now you can see the buses are having the larger share. It is 37% something, and others you can see. So road is 90% of passenger and freight movement, and rail is 5%. So this is kind of a pathetic situation. So we are going to discuss about sustainable transport. What is sustainable? Now, first of all, what is sustainability? Sustainability is something that now if I speak about sustainable transport is transport systems designed to meet present mobility needs without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their. So sustainability is having three pillars: environmental, social, and economic. So the core principles of sustainable transport, it is efficient use of resources, and then there should be low environmental impact, and social inclusiveness and accessibility, and long-term economic viability. So if we are going to decide on a sustainable transport, these things should be there. So why sustainability matters? That is our next question. So we are always talking about sustainability, but why? Why it matters? Now you know the transport contributes to 25% of global CO2 emissions, carbon dioxide emission. So the biggest share is having with the road transport. And then if we say these IPCC findings, that Intercontinental Panel of Climate Change, warming of approximately 1.1 since pre-industrial times, and urgent need to halve emissions by 2030 to limit warming to 1.5C. Now, I don't have a lot of time, but one thing I have to tell you is that if we are not going to do this, you know it becomes irrevocable. It becomes irrevocable. So that means the planet is not going to be suitable for human habitation. So according to the Paris Agreement, global commitment to keep warming well below 20 centigrade. So that is why that developed countries like UK and the Europe, they are going for net zero. Then what are the Sri Lanka's climate and energy challenge? So when it comes to climate, you know it is frequent floods, landslides, coastal erosion, storms and droughts, rising temperatures, and threatening agriculture and infrastructure. So we have energy challenges like heavy dependence on imported fossil fuels and fuel price volatility. So we don't produce them here in Sri Lanka. So our scarce foreign reserves, forex, is going out. Then when it comes to transport link, it is the major fuel consumer. Urgent need to improve energy efficiency. So you know we are always depending on the fossil fuels, not thinking about solar and things. And when it comes to urbanization, urbanization is rapidly growing in Sri Lanka. So we expect by 2030, 50% of the whole population will be urban. So this is understood with Colombo metropolitan. That region is leading, and we have Kandy, Galle, Jaffna, Kurunegala. Now maybe you might have seen some 20 years back, the congestion was only in Colombo and maybe in Kandy. But today, when you go around the country, you know everywhere it is congestion. So that is this much urbanized. So we have emerging urban corridors like Colombo Kandy, Colombo Galle, Northern Province, like that. And regional cities are growing. And one unfortunate thing is we don't plan cities. They are developing on their own, and they are just spreading urban scrolling. So mobility challenges, rise in private vehicle ownership. So the major problem why the private vehicle ownership is there, because we don't have a proper public transport and limited public and unmotorized transport. So public health and liability. So we know with the transport we have air pollution, road accidents, and noise pollution. And if we consider social equity, so the transport is important to ensure access for all, children, elderly, disabled. So that is an inclusive society connected with transport. Improve affordable public transport, strengthen walking and cycling. And livable cities, green spaces, safe streets, these things we have to consider when it comes to transport planning. So there are some there are some factors of economic transport like trade and connectivity, tourism sector, rural development, and job creation and investment. So these are the things that we want to model with the transport policy. So if we go to current transport infrastructure in Sri Lanka, So there are some key expressways, Southern, Central, Katnayaka, and roads are A class, B class, rural roads. And what are the challenges? These are congestion on major routes, lack of capacity in rural and regional roads, maintenance issues on all the roads. So if we speak about railways, it is pathetic. It is existing railway network over 150 years old. So some people call Sri Lankan railways like a museum of railways. So we haven't improved them. Track and roll incidents, frequent breakdowns, inefficiencies, and one thing, although this is out of the scope, one problem is that we are trying to keep it as a government entity where when the government is not having enough funds to improve. And limited electrification, that is again the major problem, so we don't have funds. Then Colombo Suburban Railway Project, so this was a good project. It hoped to upgrade and expansion of suburban rail network, but it was abruptly stopped. Then challenges are funding and investment, land acquisition and urban integration. Right, then public transport. So we have Sri Lanka Transport Board, private buses. So what are the challenges? Our challenges are there is no integration. So SLTB is having their own vehicle fleet and the private buses have their own vehicle fleet. There is no integration. And there is no integration with the railway. And inconsistent schedules, buses often overcrowded, unreliable timing, limited coverage, and poor infrastructure. So the improvements potentials are integrated ticketing systems. Like, so you have one ticket that you can use for the private bus, CTB bus, and then the rail and things, better scheduling and improved infrastructure. So non-motorized transport. So I have my own ideas about non-motorized transport, but only thing what I think is if we can promote this, that is good. But the problem is how to promote this. So importance of it, because it is walking and cycling, it is affordable, healthy, eco-friendly, reduce traffic conditions, sustainability. And challenges in Sri Lanka is missing sidewalks. So there is no safe path for the bicyclists to go, no dedicated bike lanes, unsafe crossings. So what are the potential improvements? Invest in sidewalk infrastructure, introduce bike lanes, pedestrian safety measures, etc. Then we have underutilized waterways, potential for reducing road congestion. Now, there was a proposal to have some boat service from Hangwalla to Colombo along Kalani River. So if we can have this kind of proposals and if we can implement this, most of this congestion will be gone. Then we have two key ports, Colombo and Hambantota. The challenges are undeveloped inland waterways, port congestion and logistic bottlenecks. So let's look into global best practices and lessons. Now this is cycling city in Netherlands and Copenhagen. Now you can see that this is a map of Netherlands with bicycle routes. So how many bicycle lanes are there? So there is a cycling culture and the policy is government investment in safe, accessible cycling networks. That is in Netherlands. In Copenhagen, it is called the world's most bike-friendly city. Then there is integrated transport. That means if you go by bicycle, you can stop it at the railway station and then you can get the train and go. The policy is citywide initiative to promote cycling. Our key takeaways here is comprehensive networks and supportive policies are essential. Cycling culture thrives when infrastructure and safety are prioritized. Then in many developed countries, we have the smart public transport. Now, as an example, Singapore and Hong Kong, they have EasyLink and SimplyGo, the tickets, real-time info that I think you might have seen that in their bus stops, there is this real-time info is displayed. So you can just take the bus. You can take an informed decision. Hong Kong, they have Octopus card and real-time updates. So our key takeaway is integrate payments and real-time info improve efficiency and convenience. Then the countries like Japan, China and India, they have heavily invested on trains. So like Shinkansen, pioneering high-speed rail system, electrification, extensive network of electric trains. China also, that is the world's largest high-speed rail network, covering over 40,000 kilometers. Electrification, most trains are electric, reducing emissions. Now India, I think, which has the widest rail network in the world, they have also heavily invested in railway, dedicated freight corridors and high-speed rail projects like So our key takeaway here is high-speed rail and electrification are key to modernizing and making rail travel faster and greener. Then electric mobility. So this is regarding EVs. Now, of course, we are having some EVs, but the problem is we haven't given them tax incentives or anything. So their prices are very high. So we have to go for such things like incentives, and we don't have the charging infrastructure. So if we are going out of Colombo, we face that problem, where to charge. So we have to plan that in advance. But if I have a petrol car, I can go anywhere in the country without planning. So these are the problems that we are having here. So we have to invest on this infrastructure. Then in India, that's Norway also, they have incentives and charging infrastructure. India, again, they have incentives and charging infrastructure. So the key takeaway here is government incentives and charging infrastructure are crucial for EV adoption. Then another very important thing is transit-oriented development. So that means we have to build cities. Now, if we are going to consider it, you see that if you consider Sri Lanka, it is like a whole city or whole village. If you start from Colombo, if you go to Jaffna, then from Colombo to Jaffna, everywhere it is urbanized or something like that. So everywhere people are living. But you know, in developed countries, it is not like this. There is a city, then there is either the jungle or the farms or whatever, and there is another city. So everything is put into one place. Then this transit-oriented development is easy, and it is easy to provide transport. So these things that we have to think. I don't see we are thinking like that. So what happens is everywhere the buildings are mushrooming, and now maybe if we started 50 years back it is easy, but if we don't start now, we will not be able to do it in another 50 years. So the benefits are like lower emissions, vibrant communities, and better access like that. So specific challenges faced in Sri Lanka, institutional fragmentation. So there are multiple agencies overlapping roles like RDA, SLTB, UDA, there is no coordination. And disconnected policies, inefficient use of resources, missed opportunities for integration. Then we need better interagency collaboration. And financial constraints due to the debt crisis limits government's ability to invest. Competing priorities, so government cannot just spend on health and transport alone. They have other priorities like health, education, and limited transport budgets. So maybe we'll have to go for innovative finance and PPP, international funding, green bonds, such as that. Then land use and enforcement. So we are having narrow transport corridors. Encroachment by informal settlements, like people are coming to sell their products here on the road. Leads to congestion, safety risks. So we have to have fair relocation, better urban planning and enforcement. Then public behavior. Strong preference for private vehicles. This is no wonder because private vehicles are the comfortable ones. We don't have comfortable buses here or the trains. So safety issues, poor road discipline, jaywalking, speeding, lack of helmet, seat belt use. So we have to have public education campaigns, incentives for sustainable choices. Then maintenance and resilience, poor asset management, deteriorating roads, bridges, railways, so we don't have money to do the proper maintenance. Inadequate maintenance budgets and climate vulnerability. So with this climate change now, floods and landslides are very frequent, so we don't have budgets to improve them as soon as they happen. So we'll have to go for proactive maintenance, climate residual design, and better data systems. So what is our vision and opportunities? So we can think of green expresses like solar lighting, then rainwater harvesting, intelligent transport system, traffic monitoring and electronic tolling, and rail and bus modernization. So we can have electric buses, metro LRT systems, suburban rail upgrades, shift passengers from private vehicles to sustainable public transport. So we have to think how the people who are using the cars will shift into the public transport. So what should we do to get that happen? And promoting non-motorized transport and inclusive mobility like sidewalk improvements, dedicated cycling lanes, disability-friendly design. So our benefits are healthier cities, reduced emissions, and social inclusion. Then the other thing is digital and smart mobility, e-ticketing systems, mobile apps, data-driven planning. Outcome is the smarter, more efficient, user-friendly transport. So digitalization is also one part of the transport. Now, we cannot only talk about transportation without the digitalization. We propose a roadmap. So, short term, 1 to 2 years, improve public transport integration, enhance road safety and maintenance, develop NMT infrastructure, sidewalks, bike lanes. Medium term goals, 3 to 5 years, implement electric buses and suburban rail upgrades, expand smart transport systems, promote green expressways with solar lighting, and then the long term is develop metro LRT systems for major cities, achieve sustainable transport with EVs and low emission roads, and then foster public-private partnerships for infrastructure. So as engineers, we have to advocate for this roadmap, or of course this is just a skeleton of a roadmap, so we can discuss and then improve this. So the call to action is collaborate, innovate and invest in sustainable transport solutions for a greener, more connected Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.